guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Tita Lavinia of Titas of Pageantry, and for this episode, I will give in to your requests and talk about Miss World Philippines 2021. So please make sure you stick around, please subscribe to the channel as well as hit that bell notification button for your weekly pageant fix. Guys, I hope that you're doing okay. So as you notice, my set is different, my camera angle is a little different, even the lighting is fabulous. This is because I am actually at my hotel room here in Cebu. I am covering some events for Hiyas ng Pilipinas, and I am in between events actually, so I have a little bit of time to squeeze in some filming for you. And because I'm in Cebu and because the reigning queens of the Philippines are from Cebu, I think it would be fitting to at least film one episode here to really take advantage of the whole setup. So, Miss World Philippines, I know I haven't been very generous in covering this pageant for you, and my real reason for that is because, if I'm being very honest, I sort of lost interest. I think that there were decisions that were made that doesn't feel right for me as a pageant fan, as a pageant admin, that it would be best for me to just steer clear of it. But unfortunately, because I run a YouTube channel for pageants, it also wouldn't be right if I didn't talk about this, at least for the finals. So this pageant was delayed for more than a year. And in fact, not too long ago, they were supposed to have the pageant stage, but the government announced a new series of lockdowns. So yeah, the ladies had to go home, the ladies had to recalibrate, and up until Miss Universe Philippines got a go-ahead to stage the pageant in Bohol, and maybe they thought about pushing the pageant anyway, and this time they were able to secure Subic as the venue. So again, the ladies converged and then they all went to Subic. From what I heard, they were supposed to have rehearsals and things like that. And, you know, at one point, even before the show, it became really promising because they started releasing photos of the stage, which really blew a lot of people away because it was just so glossy, it seemed so well thought out, and it seemed to be a vast improvement from the stage that was offered by Miss Universe Philippines as well as Binibining Pilipinas. So at one point, there were really high hopes for the staging of this year's Miss World Philippines. However, the general atmosphere or the general feeling towards the pageant is a little on the heavy side because this pageant, while it was still in the pre-pageant stage, there were a number of controversies that surface that didn't seem to have any results or any statements. So I think a lot of people wanted to watch it to get it done and over with, but at the same time, I think people just really want to, you know, just find out who are we sending anyway. But because we are pageant fans, we were still glued to it anyway. Unfortunately, this pageant really tested our limits. So when they had the pageant finally set, it was delayed for more than an hour on the viewing platforms. So I think that alone set the tone of what was going to happen within the next few hours, because the next few hours turned into about 7 hours worth of pageant activity, something that a lot of the Filipino pageant fans hasn't encountered before. I mean, for us, hardcore pageant fans, we know that this could happen, at least at Miss International. I remember there was one Miss International edition that ran for 5 hours, but this one is just a little crazy because I felt that because of the delays from the previous year, they tried to squeeze in everything. So initially, they were supposed to have 45 candidates, but one of the candidates withdrew, so they were down to 44 candidates. And when the 44 candidates paraded and was introduced to everyone, they were in pastel-colored dresses, which was really very pretty. Now, Michelle D also joined the ladies, and I'm not so sure about the other ladies or the other winners from 2019 because I didn't really get to see them. The only one who I saw was actually just Michelle D. And let me just tell you, there were segments that I slept in between because it was just so freaking long that I did my research in haste. I was doing my research, you know, during my spare time, and I honestly don't feel 100% with my research right now because I was just getting information from the other articles that I would come across and then cross-reference that from segments that I watched from the show. So if you feel like this isn't Tita's 100% research effort, then yeah, it really isn't. Now, this pageant started out really promising until we started seeing who was going to judge the pageant itself. And it kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth when you see that even if there's a mix of people from the entertainment industry, fashion and modeling industry, it was dominated by political figures. Anywhere from Senator Bong Revilla to presidential spokesperson Harry Roque. And whenever you have these people present at around the campaign time, at around election time, it puts into question the purpose of the show. There were, if I'm not mistaken, 11 political names who were present at the show, either as a judge or maybe, I don't know, maybe as a sponsor. But the thing is, yeah, that didn't quite sit well. Now, one of the reasons why the show went on for so long was that all of the ladies paraded in their swimsuit, all of the ladies paraded in their evening gowns. Let me just say though that the evening gowns from this pageant are a lot prettier than the ones that I saw at Miss Universe Philippines. And I hope I would have more time to really dissect that, to really check on that, because today, October 6th, they haven't really uploaded anything yet on their social media platforms that's official. The only thing that they uploaded was, yeah, Daniel Krishnan's statement in their acknowledgement. Another reason why this dragged on for so long was that there were so many special awards that were given. Now, if you think that, or if I think that Miss Universe Philippines was sponsor driven, now this one takes it to another level. 16 special awards were given on top of recognition for the 11 Fast Track Challenge winners. And the candidates for the Fast Track event, they're all guaranteed a spot. So I think the ones that are worth noting are the awards for Best in Swimsuit, which was bagged by Tracy Maureen Perez, very, very similar to Bea Luigi Gomez of Cebu as well. Miss Photogenic was awarded to Kathleen Payton, rightly so. And the evening gown was awarded to Danica Dilla, who wore a sparkling red number. I thought she looked fantastic in it. It wasn't busy, it was actually a simple cut, but it was a dazzling, sparkly dress, and I thought it was just right for the occasion. And then they cut to top 24. Now, again, there's really nothing inconsistent about this top 24. So, the ones who were called were Rihanna Pangindian, Dana Joy Tempra, Trisha Martinez, Anna Palmares, Michelle Arceo, Daniel Krishnan, of course, Samela Godin, Emmanuel Vera, Kathleen Payton, Ana de Mesa, Gwen Ferniol, Leia Macapagal, Natasha Jung, Tracy Maureen Perez, the eventual winner. We also have Joanne Flores, Megan Campbell, Shaila Rebortera, Tatiana Austria, Asha Gutierrez, Shannon Manzano, Julie Tarayo, Danica Dilla, Chanel Lewis, and Joy Barcoma, who also won the Beauty with a Purpose Award. And then they cut to top 15. Now, for the top 15, I'm going to flash the ladies who made it, and I think it will be something worth noting that one of the best speakers and one of the best in terms of Q&A, Joy Barcoma, did not earn a spot in top 15. Now, I think it's not far-fetched to make an assumption that, I don't know, she may have been punished for speaking up against all of this bullying from the inside, against all of the non-action of the organization to her complaint and her concern. Because at one point, she gathered personalities from media and really had a sit down and told everyone what was happening to her and how she was affected with all of these rumors, all of these bullying charges, and there were even ladies who were involved. And unfortunately, we never got to hear anything from the organization on how they rectified that. So it would make sense, of course, if you have someone who seemed to be a really strong candidate, but who seems to be really vocal and very public about her issues. So I don't know. I'm just saying that that's probably the reason why she didn't get in. And I'm pretty sure she understood that. So moving on, let's now go to Q&A. Now, I never really got to... I read the transcript of the Q&A. I think that there were a number of ladies who really excelled in Q&A. I saw some clips. I thought that some of the questions were just so ridiculously political, and it just seemed really awkward because you had political figures in the judging panel anyway. But most of the questions that I checked were usual pageant questions. So I honestly don't see any reason why there would be ladies who would falter, because these questions are mostly about life, carrying on with life in the middle of the pandemic. So this should have been easy breezy for them. If I'm being very honest with you, one of the reasons why I really stopped following Miss World Philippines was because I thought it was just overwhelming for me. I like the idea of getting to know the pageant. I like the idea of really getting to know what they're going into, so that if I make my reviews, I could also add in some input, maybe on styling and how they could win the pageant. And this time around, with so many titles, I just felt overwhelmed. I just didn't feel like I'm in the mood to really get to know these little pageants, because there really isn't anything to base from. It's not fun for me to try and figure out, who will be the best representative for these pageants, because I don't know them. And I never really got the chance to push myself to learn about these new franchise. So moving forward, I think this was one of the results that wasn't welcomed by a lot of pageant fans. That went to Gaynil Krishnan as second princess, because a lot of people thought that she would rise above. She was, of course, one of the heavy favorites, if not the heavy favorite, for the Miss World Philippines title. First princess went to Rihanna Pangandian. We all know Rihanna as a pageant veteran. We last saw her at Miss Universe Philippines as well, and she has made several appearances at Binibining Pilipinas. Miss Eco Philippines went to Kathleen Payton. I honestly thought that she would get a higher crown, but yeah, Miss Eco Philippines is something that the organization still favors right after the hoopla that happened with Kelly Day that hasn't been resolved until now. And Reina Hispano-Americana Filipinas went to Emmanuel Vera. Miss Tourism Philippines went to Trisha Martinez. I don't know how many tourism titles we need. Miss Environment Philippines went to another Cebuana. Her name is Shaila Rebortera. Miss Eco Teen, I'm really happy about this one. I think out of all the heartbreaking things that happened at Miss World Philippines, I'm really happy about this one. Her name is Tatiana Austria. She did really well in Q&A, and she's really very promising. So maybe if we wait a little longer for her, we get to see her with really a chance to compete with the other bigger girls. And Dindy Pajares also made an appearance. She had her formal walk, formal coronation, because as we know, we sent Dindy to Supranational, and there was a bit of like a fast track thing that happened with Dindy, because there was a need to select someone for Supranational even before the final show. So I'm glad that Dindy got to walk, and she looked really pretty in her yellow gown. And of course, the eventual winner of Miss World Philippines went to Tracy Maureen Perez. Now, who is Tracy Maureen Perez? Within the last few years, her name has come up. We have become rather familiar with her. She is 28 years old. I know a lot of you are concerned about her age. If I'm not mistaken, Miss World only accepts up until 27, but I did get to ask around, and I heard from someone that she is still eligible. So I'm really not sure about that because Miss World hasn't made an official statement yet, and Miss World Philippines hasn't made an official announcement on what to do just in case she's no longer eligible, or if they have indeed raised the age limit. So we just have to wait for that. Now, Tracy Maureen is, of course, riding on the Cebu wave. I think she did really, really well. And, even with the pre-pageant activities as well as the photos that they would release, Tracy would always do really well at these events and activities. So I guess there was really no question why they zeroed in on Tracy anyway. So Tracy is a model, she is a host. More importantly, she is an industrial engineer. She has been on this rodeo so many times. She joined Miss Cebu, she joined Binibining Cebu twice. She also joined Miss World Philippines in 2019, and then she went on at Miss Universe Philippines 2020. So I guess this time around, she bested all 43 ladies, and maybe this time around, this is really her time to shine. So first of all, congratulations to Tracy Maureen Perez. I mean, it's a really fun I know it's a little chaotic, but it's a really fun thing to realize that two Cebuanas are really dominating the local pageant scene. So there you go. Now let's go to some tea. Now, this pageant turned out really, really crazy, not because Maureen or Tracy fell twice, and it's not a slip. It really was a fall, and I think a lot of people got really concerned because the show went on for so long. A lot of the ladies, even on stage, mentioned that they were hungry. And I do know that they're hungry because some of my media friends who also covered the event in Subic didn't get to eat. And because also of the pandemic restrictions, they weren't really allowed to go in and out and, look for places to eat. So they were just stuck there. And if it was hard for the media people because they were hungry, I think that it is extra hard for the ladies to be under hot lights, wearing heavy beaded dresses, standing in super high heels, with all that makeup, all that hair product, and the nerves, and just the length of the whole show. I think it really took a toll on them. So that one was already a red flag. Number two, there were reports, because a lot of people are still questioning the results. Of course, after Gaynell was left out of the winner's circle, there were reports that the organization actually asked the ladies who had a visa, and those who won were the ladies who had a visa. Now, I don't know how true this is, but if it is true, then yeah, that's a little sad, because what's the essence of a fair competition when you're being tapped and when you're being, directed to do this and do that because you'll probably get a crown. Number three, I think Gaynell really was slighted in this competition. During the screening, she was asked what she wanted in terms of picking a title. And because Gaynell is a little advanced in age than most of the other ladies, she of course chose Miss World or Nothing. I mean, Gaynell already has a career as an anchor for a large TV network. So for her to go back into pageantry, she must have an actual goal. And this time around, because she was only eligible for only a few titles, why not give it a go? Why not reach for the stars? Why not reach for the world? I mean, I don't understand why there's a backlash in saying universe or nothing. Because when these ladies were at Binibining Pilipinas, whenever media folks would ask the ladies, which title would you want? When the ladies from Binibini would say Miss Universe, we are totally accepting on that. So I don't understand why there is such a thing as, talks on Gaynell being cops. I mean, if you're there, if you're a candidate, go for the best, right? I think this has the same color as what happened to Steffi. Steffi is called out for producing way too much or being way too prepared. Like, I don't really understand this, because if you are competing at a once-in-a-lifetime chance of becoming, the most beautiful in the land, why not? I mean, why not be the best, why not go for it? And this time around, when Gaynell said that, and she only finished second princess with no actual duties and no actual competition to prepare for, I think people, some people thought that it would be nice to really pin her down and, tell the whole world that you asked for nothing, they gave you nothing. I thought it was really unfair because apart from the popularity side, I think, can all agree that Gaynell's face is not something that comes along too often. And if we really want to win Miss World again, then we have to pattern someone who we know is preferred by the organization, the international organization. And then there were talks about some of the ladies who have been bullying each other. This wasn't rectified as well. This wasn't checked on. And with Gaynell being more public, she actually called out the swimsuit designer of Binibining Pilipinas for being too vocal and being nasty on social media. And this was followed by another lady from Miss World Philippines, Pauline Robles. So I think all of the satellite events were just so dirty that it was just a little difficult to keep up with Miss World Philippines, on top of reports that the ladies were asked to go on a motorcade campaign for the owner of the franchise who was running for mayor in Subic. So the ladies apparently, of course, couldn't do anything but agree to a motorcade, but they were all mostly very upset that they had to go into this political soiree and that they had to parade themselves and they had to remove their masks. They had their face shields on, yes, but I think the ladies were just so tired, and you could really see that from the actual show. Not only were they tired because of the length of the show, but they were really tired because of the events leading up to the show. So whatever it is, there are now rumors that the national director is about to resign. I don't know how heavy these rumors are, but I think it's very telling that this time around, people aren't only questioning the results, people are questioning the way Miss World Philippines is being run. Because yes, I did mention earlier that I kind of lost heart in covering Miss World Philippines because I felt that it wasn't driven towards looking for the best beauty pageant representative for Miss World. We are now veering away from that. I feel like it's more of an artista search these days. So I hope that with these winners that they have chosen, that they will do really well, and I hope that because these shows are now out in the open, we might as well go ahead and take a look at it and maybe reassess where this organization is heading, because I think as of this moment, the patience of pageant fans are really thinning. So congratulations to the winner, but more than anything else, I hope that this is a learning experience for the organization, and if they want to save this, at least in the face of the Filipino pageant fans, then they really have to do something about it. I will see you very soon. Goodbye.